This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for starting your day the Kentucky way with WKYT. I'm Andrea Walker.
And I'm Bill Bryant, and here we are. It is Tuesday, November 1st, if you can believe it.
I know, I can't.
It's going to be a warm one, though, today.
It is. Now at 6, friends and family are remembering the two men killed by an alleged drunk driver in Lexington over the weekend. More on the funeral arrangements are just ahead.
Also this morning, Kentucky's U.S. Senate race is heating up. Coming up, we'll have a look at last night's one and only debate between Lexington Mayor Jim Gray and the incumbent Senator Rand Paul.
And trick-or-treaters were out in full force last night, weren't they? Great weather certainly helped out. Micah is here to tell us how long this warm air is expected to stick around.
One big trick-or-treater himself, I think, right?
Oh, we had a blast last night. Absolutely. And like you were talking about, full force. I mean, kids were everywhere last night. So it was a fun night and perfect weather for it. Believe it or not, it gets much warmer today and for tomorrow. It's crazy. Wow. It's November 1st, and we're talking about record-breaking temperatures, at least the potential for that later on this afternoon in the 80s. We're starting off this morning. I want you to really pay attention to the screen. Lexington's at 63 degrees, Mount Sterling at 63, or Lexington 64 rather. That's actually above our average high. Our average highs are sitting there at 62 degrees. So it just goes to show you, it's definitely a warm start to the day, and it's going to be a warm finish near 80 degrees. So that's possible record, and that's really what we're going to be focusing in on. We're going to be tracking that, and also this huge change as we get toward later on into the work week. Potentially a 20 to 25 degree swing for highs. Okay, so you're talking in the 80s and then back into the 50s and 60s. We'll get into that in just a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, and we thank you. In the news this morning, the mourning continues for the victims of a deadly crash in Lexington from over the weekend.
Lexington police say Louisville police detective Jason Schweitzer was asking a UK employee, Timothy Moore, for directions when a suspected drunk driver hit the two men on South Upper Street. WKYT's Lauren Miner is at our live desk this morning with more on Detective Schweitzer's funeral arrangements. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Andrea. Today, a visitation will be held to remember Detective Jason Schweitzer. Schweitzer was a father to a little girl, and we're told he just recently found out his wife was pregnant with a little boy. Schweitzer was also a 15-year veteran of the Louisville Metro Police Department in Louisville, in addition to serving as the vice president of the FOP Lodge for several years. Yesterday, we spoke with the River City FOP president, Dave Muchler, who described Schweitzer as a passionate detective, but said more than anything, Schweitzer loved his family. On Saturday, Schweitzer was in Lexington and attending a statewide FOP convention. He had just left a concert and was looking to get something to eat when he and another Louisville officer stopped UK employee Timothy Moore to ask for directions. Police believe Suzanne Whitlow was driving drunk and hit Schweitzer and Moore, ultimately killing them.
He and Mr. Moore were simply being human beings and living their life, and in a heartbeat, that's gone.
There will be a lot of, there will be a visitation for Detective Schweitzer today from 1 to 8 at Ratterman Brothers on Shelbyville Road, and tomorrow at noon at St. Michael Catholic Church. The funeral will follow at 1. Schweitzer will be buried at Cave Hill Cemetery. Reporting at the live desk, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
Lauren, thank you. A WKYT News investigation looked into the criminal history of the suspect charged in the case.
Suzanne Whitlow is charged with manslaughter and DUI. Court records show she was charged with DUI in Lexington back in August of 2014. Police arrested her again in January of this year on probation violation and non-payment of fine charges. In July, the court ordered her to go to a substance abuse education treatment program. Records show she completed that program just last month. Police say Whitlow remains in the hospital from Saturday's crash. You can keep up with the latest details on this case and all of our stories on WKYT.com, or you can always download the WKYT News app and get the updates on your phone as well. Well, with Election Day just a week away from today, Kentucky U.S. Senate race is heating up.
Right. Kentucky's U.S. Senate candidates, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray and the incumbent Senator Rand Paul, met for their first and only debate of the campaign. It was last night. WKYT's Mike Beyer is live now in Lexington at the KET studios with your debate recap. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bill. It's quiet outside KET right now, but that was not the case last night. Dozens of supporters for both candidates stood out here before the debate. Inside, it didn't take long for Lexington Mayor Jim Gray to attack, hitting Senator Rand Paul right out of the gate. Paul largely didn't take the bait, but the two did spar briefly when Gray again criticized Paul for running for president.
It's perfect on Halloween night because Senator Paul is starting out with Halloween scare tactics. He wants us to believe that his wild-ass theories and philosophies are the remedies for everything.
I mean, you got an enormous hole in the middle of Lexington. It's been there your entire tenure. You've been there 8 years, and it's like you're talking about something that doesn't exist, and here you are running for 2 offices. Why don't you take a pledge to do your job as mayor?
Mostly, though, the debate focused on issues ranging from the economy to national security, student debt, and the opioid epidemic, just to name a few. Paul said he can't imagine voting for a Supreme Court nominee from Hillary Clinton, but he stopped short of saying he would continue to block Democratic appointments. Gray said the Senate should have done its job and given Obama's nominee a hearing. Then we caught up with both candidates after the debate.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a good exchange of ideas. Oh, I thought it was a healthy debate. I'm glad we had it finally. You know, Senator Paul was willing to do 6 debates in the presidential, and he's only willing to do 1 here. And I think what he illustrated tonight is why he wasn't willing to do more than 1.
Now, voters will have the final say as to who will represent Kentucky in the U.S. Senate going forward. The election is 1 week from today. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thank you, Mike. Well, state police faced several unanswered questions this morning following a deadly shooting in Powell County.
Investigators say David Rogers was driving on Mountain Springs Road Sunday when a bullet came through his car's windshield. When police found Rogers' car, they say it was stopped in the middle of the road but was still in drive. At this point, police don't know where the shot came from. They say they're trying to find any witnesses.
Mainly trying to get information for people who might have been with him earlier in the day or the night before, prior to him being found deceased.
Some of Rogers' family lives near where he was shot. His brother told us off camera the shooting has devastated the family.
Now to a story that's sure to have a lot of people talking this morning. One parent made a shocking discovery after their child went trick-or-treating in parts of Virginia and right here in eastern Kentucky. Police say the parent found this in their child's candy. Take a look at this picture. That's a needle stuck in the middle of a Minnie's Snicker bar. Stay with us. We'll have more on this disturbing discovery coming up at 6:30.
Well, that it is, certainly. Well, Kentucky's former Coal Association president is leaving the energy industry and starting a new role today. Bill Bissett is heading back to his hometown of Huntington, West Virginia. He'll be the next president and CEO of the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce. He's moving on.
And we have an update this morning on 2 missing teens from Garrett County. Garrett County emergency management leaders say Delilah and Taylor Pretty have been found safely in Nicholasville. EMA officials announced their update on their Facebook page. The 2 teens had been missing since Friday.
Well, from superheroes to princesses, witches, everything in between out there, trick-or-treaters filled the streets of Lexington for an unusually warm Halloween.
Oh, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
That warm weather made trick-or-treating ideal for children across most of the bluegrass and their parents, of course. We caught up with a few trick-or-treaters going door to door in the Glendover neighborhood right near Nicholasville Road.
My favorite thing about trick-or-treating is the haunted house in our neighborhood. I guess you get to be with a lot of friends and see a lot of neat costumes.
I think one time I got like gum and toys. It's fun to trade off.
That you get all this candy. And that you get to stay up late.
Aren't they precious? I love it. If your children don't feel like eating all of the candy they got last night, we got a trick for you. Fayette Mall Dental will be happy to take it off your hands. They're promoting healthy habits, and they're going to give you $1 in exchange for every pound of candy you bring in. And the candy, it won't go to waste either. The dental office says it will be given out to first responders. So isn't that a fantastic way to cut down on the sugar intake this year a little bit?
Just
all
a
for a
little.
good cause.
Oh, those kids were cute, weren't
Oh,
they? Yeah,
precious.
Love their theories about it all, right? Our time is 6:09 on WKYT this morning as we anticipate an almost record high today. Just incredible for November 1st.
Hard to believe it's November, people. Let's head on over to meteorologist Micah Harris for an early look at that beautiful forecast.
Yeah, we're in the month where you have Thanksgiving. It's just crazy to think about how fast this year is flying by. And not only that, but the temperatures that go along with it. The most common thing that I heard last night from parents were, I didn't have to bundle up. Even some mosquitoes were out last night. I mean, it's just crazy to think about. 64 degrees there in Lexington, 63 in Mount Sterling. When's the last time you had to swat off some mosquitoes on Halloween, right? 59 in Danville. I mean, we've had some severe weather. We've had snow. Snow, actually, the chance just a couple of years ago here in Lexington and surrounding areas. So it was really, really nice. I mean, it was a nice change of pace. 59 now in Frankfort. And we get off towards your afternoon right around 80 degrees like Bill and Andrea were talking about. It's near record highs. Record high is at 83. Potentially reaching that. We'll see those gusty winds. That always helps us out. 75 there by the evening hours heading out to the ball fields. It looks really, really nice. Actually be much warmer than what we felt yesterday. Late week, though. Today and tomorrow, we're talking about potential record temperatures. And then we get off towards your Thursday. Thursday are when things start to change. Watch this, okay? So here comes the front. It's going to be moving on through. You'll get scattered showers and thunderstorms. Remember, not everybody sees the rain on Thursday, but it's a pretty decent shot. So once that pushes on through, some much cooler air funnels in back behind that, and that's going to be on Friday. Friday, you'll see temperatures in the 50s for highs. So we're going from, say, 80 to about 83 today to more like 55, 56 degrees on Friday. It is going to be a big change of pace on Friday, and that means Friday night football will be very, very chilly too. The weekend looks good, and we're back toward normal there for the weekend in the low 60s. Check out this cute picture right here. You got a little Superman. That's from Tanya Taylor. Just kind of hanging out. He's got a little passy in his mouth. And then you can see Madison from Winchester and Munster High Catanora. I guess that's what it is. Catanora. I never heard of it. But cute picture right there. And they say, we love WKYT. Well, you know what? We love you back. Okay, here's another one. And this one is Bad Girl. My granddaughter, Rain, dressed as Bad Girl. Really, really cute shots right there. On my Facebook page, Micah Harris, WKYT. 7-day forecast, 80 today and tomorrow. And then we get up towards your Thursday. There's the showers and thunderstorms. Friday, much, much cooler. And then Saturday and Sunday, guys, get to throw our clocks back 1 hour, and that's going to help us out big time. But you know what? We were talking about it. That helps us out
so much.
But then you think about it, it's like kids get home from school, what, 3, 4 o'clock, maybe a little bit later, and then an hour and a half later, the sun's down. I mean, it's crazy. The sun will be down around 5:45. It's pretty wild.
But maybe here for a little while they're not standing at the bus stop in the dark either.
That's
in the
true.
morning.
That's
true.
So
yep.
The silver lining. I like that.
Positives and negatives. There you go.
6:12 on WKYT this morning.
And each morning we bring you weather and traffic together.
So let's do that right now, let you know what's going on out there. We want to take a look, first of all, at the region, and things are looking good. We inquired about those cones you see there in Winchester. That has to do with the road closed. They're doing some construction on Washington Street between 1st and 2nd. And then you see over there in Frankfort, that's restricted flow. There is a lane blocked due to utility work at Main Street, both ways from Langford over to Martin Luther King Drive there.
All right, now let's look at the LFU-CG Drive Cam. We're looking at Red Mile Road this morning and Broadway, and the roads are all yours if you head out this morning. I think I see one car over to the right corner of your screen. That's about it.
At least at that location. Things are picking up elsewhere.
Oh, they will be very shortly.
Right. Richmond Road and Nicholasville Road probably getting busy right now.
Yeah.
More news coming up on WKYT this morning here on your Tuesday.
Still ahead, one of the biggest gas lines in the U.S. has shut down after a pipeline exploded in Alabama. Details on the deadly blast in 3 minutes.
And Butterball is rolling out a new way to help struggling cooks this Thanksgiving. We'll have details on WKYT this morning. Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. Here we are, 6:17 on your Tuesday, a week from the election now.
I know.
Right. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are plunging into their final week sprint to Election Day.
For Trump, it's the unleashing of a harsh new attack against Clinton after the FBI said it's looking at more emails that could be tied to her case. Clinton has been defending herself from the new FBI examination, saying there is no case. This morning, a gas fire is still burning in eastern Alabama after a pipeline explosion sparked wildfires and evacuations. At least one person working at the scene was killed and several others were injured. Colonial Pipeline has shut down 2 of its main gas lines. The blast sent flames soaring into the air. Houses around the scene were evacuated. The blast site is not far from where a line ruptured in September, leading to fuel shortages and gas price spikes in several southern states.
With now 2 lines being shut down, could have a ripple effect further into the Northeast, thinking New England, and perhaps as far as Canada as well.
In the September break, the pipeline leaked up to 336,000 gallons of gas. Colonial is responsible for supplying about 1/3 of gasoline used on the East Coast every day.
U.S.-led forces in Iraq are close to entering Mosul for the first time in more than 2 years. Iraqi special forces have begun their assault on the city in an effort to drive ISIS out. And the Chicago Cubs take on the Cleveland Indians in Game 6 of the World Series tonight. The Cubs beat the Indians 3-2 in Game 5 Sunday at Wrigley Field. The Indians lead the series 3-2.
The time now is 6:18 on your Tuesday, and if you're black or a woman, Uber is more likely to overcharge or cancel your ride. That's according to a new study that looked at roughly 1,500 rides in Seattle and Boston. People with African-American sounding names have longer wait times and are more likely to have their ride canceled, and female passengers often have to pay more because they get stuck with chatty drivers who drag out the trip. The study found similar results with Lyft. Toyota is launching new technology to simplify car sharing. A pilot program will launch in January in San Francisco using a system that lets users unlock the doors and start the ignition using their smartphone. Toyota also plans to create a lease that will allow the leasee to rent out their car and use the income to pay off the lease. Also this morning, the Federal Reserve starts its two-day policy meeting today. Tomorrow, we'll find out if the Fed will raise interest rates. Most analysts expect the Fed to wait until after the election next week and raise rates at its meeting in December. Well, Halloween is only hours behind us, but for Amazon, today marks the start of the holiday season. Amazon.com is launching its Black Friday deal store today with new deals as often as every 5 minutes now through December 22nd. So you can go ahead and get started on that. And Butterball is offering a new way to get help with that Thanksgiving turkey. Since 1981, they've staffed a telephone helpline. Now struggling cooks can text their questions for turkey cooking guidance in the week leading up to Thanksgiving. I'm one of those people that probably need that helpline.
You'll be sending a text, right?
Yes, maybe I'll be texting, that's right.
Do you have to take this out of the refrigerator, right?
Exactly. Do I have to brown the meat before I serve
Right,
it?
yeah, exactly. All right, WKYT this morning just getting started. Our time right now is 6:20, and coming up, a man charged with a machete. He was armed with this machete. He went on a rampage in New Orleans at the airport. We'll look at the surveillance footage that captured those frightening moments. That's coming up after weather.
And we're looking at the 50s and 60s out there earlier this morning. That's a pretty nice feel when you step out the door, and really nice later on this afternoon. Show you much warmer air in your forecast, not only today, but for tomorrow too. That's coming up.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. Our time now 6:24. Funeral arrangements have been scheduled for one of the two victims in this weekend's deadly crash in Lexington. That's what's trending at this hour at WKYT News. Lexington Police Detective Jason Schweitzer and UK employee Timothy Moore were hit by a suspected drunk driver on South Upper Street. Detective Schweitzer's visitation will be held today at the Ratterman Funeral Home in Louisville. His funeral will be tomorrow at St. Michael Catholic Church, also in Louisville.
We're just 1 week away from Election Day, and Kentucky's U.S. Senate candidates, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray and the incumbent, Senator Rand Paul, met for their only debate of the campaign last night. Things got heated between the two candidates. They both touched on a variety of issues facing the country and Kentucky.
It was a beautiful evening for Halloween, and it looks like here on November 1st we could set a record potentially.
Yeah, potentially. That's crazy. I mean, we're talking about 80s in the forecast on November 1st. Frankfurt sitting at 59 degrees, and that goes for Rowan County. Work your way into Winchester, Georgetown, looking across the region there in the Bluegrass, Madison County, Richmond. We're doing just fine. Down south in the London-Corbin area and off towards Somerset, I don't see any problems whatsoever, sitting there in the 50s and 60s. Pretty pleasant start, it really is. Now, once you hit the afternoon, we'll be right around 80 degrees. That is near a record being at 83. We'll see if we'll top that out. I do believe here in Lexington we have a pretty good chance at least tying that. We'll see how it turns out, but tracking records and that big change, guys, as we head toward Thursday, off into your Friday. How is that going to affect your weekend plans? I'll have that coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. And then the time change this weekend as
I
well.
know.
So
We're looking forward to it.
A lot going on, yeah.
Well, there were some frightening moments for passengers at the New Orleans airport. Police are trying to figure out what led a man to go on a rampage armed with a machete.
Yeah, here's the dramatic surveillance footage showing the incident unfold. Without any warning, the suspect, who's seen at the top of your screen, starts swinging that machete. You see it cleared out, dozens of people there running. TSA agents try stopping the man, but but he began spraying them with some kind of wasp spray before running through the checkpoint. And moments later, the suspect would be shot by police. And they say he died shortly after this at the hospital. Amazingly, police say no one was seriously injured in that situation.
Well, thank goodness for that, but that is bizarre, just bizarre.
A lot of questions remaining on that. All right, good to have you with us. We're rolling toward 6:30 here on WKYT this morning, and it's great to have you with us. We have a lot more news on the way.
Still ahead, it's something parents are warned about every Halloween. Coming up, find out what disturbing discovery was made last night near eastern Kentucky.
Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $40 million. Tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot is $198 million. Keep it here for our top stories coming up on WKYT this morning.